Welcome to the Fifth Quarter Sportscast. I'm Jared Judy, and I'm here as usual with my buddy Todd Corley. How we doing tonight?
I'm high off my ass on Kratom. Jared, how are you?
Not as high as you, apparently.
Seeing ghosts.
So is Zach Wilson. But with that being said, let's get the show kicked off here. We just finished up the division round, and we'll start with the usual poll of the week. With the division round done, which game was most entertaining? We had Rams over the Texans, 49ers over the Packers, Lions over the Bucks, Chiefs over the Bills. Lions over the Bucks, 20%. Chiefs over the Bills, 80%. Not really surprised there. Ravens was a blowout. 49ers Packers, that thing was kind of a shit show for most of the game with the weather. Lions over Bucks, it was a pretty close one. But then the Chiefs over the Bills, I mean, it's the Chiefs of the Chiefs. And the Bills, they'll be the Bills. They had a chance to win, but they blew it. I didn't vote in this, but if I did, I probably would have said Lions over the Bucks, because I thought that Baker was going to get it done. So I probably would have picked that one.
I'm with you.
But that being said, we'll jump through some of these games here and look at some of the breakdown. We only got 4 games, so it shouldn't take too long. Then we'll get into some of the breaking news here. There's been plenty of coaching changes. It's the season time of the year, coaching carousel. But we'll start off with the early game, Texans and Ravens. It pretty much wasn't even a close game from the beginning. Ravens take down the Texans 34-10. They move on, as pretty much almost everybody assumed they would, get the home field advantage next week in the AFC Championship game. Lamar Jackson's pretty much just proven everybody wrong. He got his playoff win. Now they're hosting a game. He's angling for that Super Bowl win.
Bowl win and money.
Yeah, for sure. More so than what he had. But I mean, he didn't have a bad day. I mean, it wasn't unbelievable passing wise.
I like my quarterbacks to hit that century mark on the ground. That's how I like my QBs.
Yeah, like I said, he didn't have that much passing, but he made up for it on the ground. 16 of 22, 152, and 2 touchdowns through the air. 11 for 100 on the ground. 9.1 average. Also 2 touchdowns on the ground himself. He's such a vital weapon. If he gets hurt, they're screwed, because he is basically their passing and their running attack. But with that being said, he's hard to catch. So if you can catch him, that's one thing. But he's a force to be reckoned with. He's pretty tough. I'll give him that.
MVP?
Yeah. At this point, I don't see any of the 4 teams that are left. Anybody is, maybe CMC, but I just don't see it. He's clear cut in my opinion. But the Ravens, like I said, they do move on. They will host the other AFC team here. We'll get to them in a little bit, but we'll move to the late Saturday game, Packers 49ers. 49ers, as usual, get the win over the Packers 24-21. It was kind of an odd game. A lot of rain. Packers, for the most part, seemed like they were playing a pretty solid game for the first 3 quarters or so, and then didn't do shit in the fourth quarter. It's like they forgot how to play. Jordan Love reverted back to the rookie stage that he was back in October, threw in 2 picks, one of which basically closed out the game. I think Warner got them both, didn't he? If I remember right.
I'll stat check you on that one.
No, Greenlaw. Greenlaw got them both. That's right. I was thinking Warner for some reason, but yeah, Greenlaw got them both. Brock Purdy didn't look all that great towards the beginning of the game. He seemed to be bothered more so by the weather than Jordan Love, but they did what they needed to do. Green Bay had the opportunity to close it out. They were ahead 21-17 with, I think, a couple minutes left in the game, maybe a minute left in the game or something, and then, you throw that pick. and San Francisco goes down, and it was ridiculous seeing Christian McCaffrey just pinball his way through the defense in for the touchdown. Didn't help, again, as usual. It's not to beat a dead horse, but it's been an ongoing issue all season. Special teams, they get that long return, fumble the ball. They get lined up for a field goal and you miss a kick. I mean, it's been the same ongoing issues for the whole year. And Buffalo can attest to this. When you miss a field goal in a playoff game, chances are that's going to come back and bite you in the ass, and that's exactly what happened. So hopefully they get that straightened out. Yeah, that sort of thing is what you need to bank on in these tight games.
That and keeping your studs healthy. Devo getting hurt didn't do San Fran any favors, I'll tell you that.
I've heard that, is he practicing or is he still out? Have you heard?
Couple days prior to the airing of this, I saw that he was actually already ruled out, but then the day of this recording said that he was, I don't think he was limited in practice, or he would do walkthroughs or something.
Yeah, I thought I saw him doing something in practice, so I was kind of confused, or they said he was hopeful to play or whatever.
Yeah, they said uncertain, but yeah, a day or two ago it was, no, he's out.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Which, I mean, he got hurt pretty early in this game, which, I mean, obviously changes game plans because he's a lot of the offense. But then again,
so versatile.
You got CMC, you got Kittle, you got Ayuk, you still got an embarrassment of riches. So I don't think it would hurt too much. But I mean, if he's not getting the ball, he's a big decoy. So that's, I mean, if at worst, that's the big thing that you're missing. But as usual, for whatever reason, Green Bay just can't seem to close it out. They lose again to San Francisco. It doesn't even seem to matter if it's at home, if it's at San Francisco, if it's with Aaron Rodgers, without Aaron Rodgers, if it's in the rain, in the cold, in the sun. Like, it just doesn't matter. For whatever reason, they can't get over the hump. San Francisco moves on to the NFC Championship game again for the second year in a row. They will play the winner of our next NFC matchup here. We got the Buccaneers and the Lions. That was a touchy game as well. It was kind of a back and forth game. I believe, let me look here. Yeah, it was tied up 10-10 at halftime. It was 17-17 and going to the third. So I mean, it was close for, the whole game. Lions do get the win though. They shut down Tampa in the end. They get to win 31-23. It was Derek Barnes, who sealed the game with his game closing out interception from Baker.
That one was a legit interception. The first interception that Baker threw to that fucking no-talent asshat C.J. Gardner-Johnson after he was over there talking shit. Yeah. I was actually on Baker's side that time. I was hoping he was going to punch him right in the fucking throat. Yeah, Barnes
that was legit. 100% in his hands. No question. I don't know. I was torn. I just really don't want to see Baker win, but I also did not want to see being a division rival with the Packers. I did not want to see the Lions win either. I was hoping it would have been Baker, and then Baker would have got lit up by San Fran. But either way, at this point, I don't have a dog in the fight anymore, so I hope somebody from the AFC wins it.
I am completely opposite of you.
But I can understand where you're coming from because you have a deep hatred for the Ravens, and I think we're both tired of hearing about the winner of our next game here. But digging a little bit more into this game, Goff 30 for 43, 287, 2 touchdowns. Gibbs, another good game, 9 for 74, touchdown. St. Brown, pretty standard day for him, 8 for 77 and a touchdown. You go to the other side, Mayfield, I mean, they're almost identical as far as stats. 30 for 43 for Goff, 26 of 41 for Mayfield, but he has 349. He does have 3 touchdowns. It's the 2 interceptions that killed him. He also got sacked 4 times, so that doesn't help. Again, the running game struggles for the Bucs. That's kind of been their Achilles heel, no pun intended, for the entire season. Mike Evans, though, hell of a game. Hell of a way to end the season on a personal note. 8 for 147 and a touchdown. I mean, in a playoff game against a pretty good Detroit defense, that's hats off to you, sir. Go get paid.
The sickening part about Evans, as good as his stat line is, he's still, man, I don't know. He was missing some balls that hit him right in the hands. And I don't understand what's going on there.
I feel like he hasn't been as consistent all season long. Somehow he's still putting up the numbers, but I just don't feel like he's as consistent. Like, I feel like his highlight reel this year is down compared to where it's been, but he's still putting up the numbers.
He's a hell of an athlete. I don't know, man. There's some easy catches that I've seen him just...
I know they've talked about getting Baker back and doing a deal with him. Do you think they try to... They have to do the same with Evans, don't they? They have to keep him.
I don't know where they're at. I don't know what their salary situation looks like, but I would assume they'd have to bring... Yeah.
I mean, looking at their offense, who else is their dominant threat? Their run game is non-existent. Their run game's a joke. I mean... I guess you have...
Palmer kid looks like he's going to be pretty damn good.
Yeah, I was going to say you have Godwin, but...
I like Godwin. I don't know.
He's just not... He's not the threat that Evans is.
Otten looks good, tight end. They got some firepower in Tampa, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't know. Well, I think it worked in their favor for Detroit because it was an inside game. I don't know if anyone knew that.
It was cold though, Jared. It was cold outside.
The wind was a little high. We'll say that the wind was blowing.
It was chilly.
But Lions do get the win. They go on to the first championship game in since like 91, I think I saw, or something like that, which is crazy. They they get the win 31-23. So they will be playing the 49ers at Santa Clara here next week.
Love it.
Moving on to the last game here, the AFC game. This probably had the most eyes on it. Chiefs and Bills. Chiefs go to, is it Highland Park?
Orchard Park?
Highmark Park or whatever it's called.
Oh, Highmark. Yeah.
Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park. First time Mahomes plays an away game. Didn't seem to matter. Results still the same.
Yeah.
Still the same situation. We've talked about this offline. I don't understand it. For whatever reason, when the Bills get in these situations, they seem to shoot themselves in the foot time after time after time. For anyone that didn't watch the game, basically it was kind of a similar situation as it was last year with the Bills leading, with 13 seconds left. It was a similar situation. Bills had the ball on like the 25, 28-yard line, something like that, of Kansas City, going in for a touchdown. They're down by 3, and they have just under 2 minutes left. I don't know at the time. I know they had timeouts. I know Kansas City had timeouts. First down was, I believe, an incomplete pass. So it's 2nd and 10, under 2 minutes. You literally want to run the clock because you got Mahomes on the other sideline just waiting, if you score, to go right down the field and get the win. So the whole point of the game is run the clock. We talked about this. James Cook looked great. Like, they were doing awesome at the beginning of the game, running the ball, keeping the ball on the ground. They had some success running the ball. That's the time you run the ball. Right there. You run the clock. For whatever reason, they decided to throw it. First down, they go to the end zone. Second down, they go to the end zone. Why do you go to the end zone on 2nd and 10 with 2 minutes left, down by 3, when you had Stephon Diggs wide open at the sticks?
That one, for at least half of this podcast had some pesos betting on that one, and that one stung.
That blew me away because, one, you stopped the clock now, and you basically gave Kansas City a extra timeout in their favor that they didn't have to use. 2, you didn't convert anything. You got no yards. So now it's 3rd and long. It's 3rd and 10. You have to convert. Or you kick a field goal and hope you make it, and then hope that your defense can hold off Mahomes, because you also didn't use up hardly any time because it was just under the 2-minute warning. So basically you only used maybe 15 seconds, tops, in 3 drives or 3 plays. If Diggs was at the sticks right over the middle, even if he gets 8-9 yards, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 is a heck of a lot more manageable than 3rd and 10. Plus, you don't have to waste the timeout. Let Kansas City burn the timeout because you're trying to run the clock anyway. So go over the middle. You could have gave it to Cook. You could have done whatever. If you converted it, first down, let the clock run. If you didn't convert it, make them use a timeout. You still have an opportunity to kick a field goal. And you've made Kansas City burn a timeout. That made no sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't get that. They're so good. And it's like they self-implode. Well,
and they've had success running the ball the entire game. And then
Cook. Give it to Cook.
And it's almost like Allen gets panicked. It's almost like
he turns into like hero mode where he's like trying to.
He's trying to do too much instead of just give what the defense takes, what the defense gives you, and just work with what has been working all game. Don't get fancy. Like, it's there. There was literally nobody within 15 yards of Diggs. Nobody.
No, I mean, it was, and then very bare minimum first down.
Easy.
You get three. You get another set of downs. You get more opportunities to.
Worst case scenario, he catches it and you score, and you go up by 4 points, 3 points, and you make them now have to go the length of the field. Either way, you're still taking up time, and you either put points on the board or you gain yards. That decision made no sense to me. I don't know if it was McDermott's play calling or Allen checked out of something. Either way, it made no sense. None.
Yeah, that was just a gut punch all around. That was just piss poor setup, and then
the
field goal.
On top of that, it was a missed opportunity, and then the third down was yet another stupid play. So then now you have to kick it because you're not going to probably get the ball back with enough time. So you have to kick it. Now because you screwed up and you didn't try to move the ball closer, now you're giving your kicker, like what they say it was, like a 46 or 47 or something, 41. It was just over a 40-yard field goal and like 30-mile-an-hour wind, which, don't get me wrong, Bass has usually been pretty money. But still, I would think common sense says you want to get as close to possible if that's the alternative if you don't score. Give your guy a better chance in that weather. And that throw to the end zone on second down instead of going to Diggs turned out to be the dagger for him, and the all too familiar wide right surfaces again for Buffalo when Bass misses the kick, and then Kansas City gets a first down and game over. Like that game, they threw that game away. They didn't lose the game. They threw it away. Kansas City didn't beat them. Bills beat themselves.
Kansas City didn't win. Buffalo lost it. That's trash. That was awful.
Don't get me wrong.
I felt sick.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think they would have had a good shot against Baltimore anyway. Baltimore's defense is really good. Baltimore's offense is humming. I don't think they would have matched up well with Baltimore anyway. But regardless, you blew an opportunity yet again. Another year. And it's a home game. The one time you had the opportunity to play Mahomes at your place and you screwed up. I don't know. It was frustrating. But also in this game, for anyone that wasn't watching, Mahomes and Kelsey did set the record for the most touchdowns by any QB receiver duo in the NFL postseason history with 16. They passed, was it Gronk and Brady that they passed?
Yeah, Gronk and Brady were on the list.
15, yeah. So they did set that record, which, I don't know, that's kind of a slap in the face, too, that they set a record at your place and you let them win, but oh well. But the games are set next week. Kansas City plays at Baltimore at 3 o'clock Sunday the 28th, and Lions play at San Francisco at 6:30 on that Sunday as well. Could be some interesting games. I think they're both going to be pretty close. I think San Francisco might be more of I don't want to say a runaway, but I think that might be a little bit wider scoring than the Chiefs-Ravens. I feel like there's going to be really no defense. I think it could be a shootout.
Yeah, a lot of it depends, again, on Debo. If Debo plays, man, I'll take San Francisco to cover.
Yeah.
If Debo's out, give me Detroit in the points.
Yeah. I think I sent you this to kind of circle back. We were talking about as far as the cap goes with the Buccaneers and as far as who they're going to be able to sign. Looking at the cap and how Buffalo's going to have to restructure, they got quite a few guys that are free agents. And I think I sent you this. Hembo, the stats guru for ESPN, posted something on Twitter, and it just kind of blew me away. It's a screenshot of Josh Allen's cap hit by season and how the season ended. 2019, he was $4.8 million to the cap. He lost in the wild card. 2020, his cap went to $5.9 million. Lost in the conference championship. 21, his cap went to $10.2 million. Lost in the divisional round. 2022, it went up to 16.4. Lost in the divisional round. 2023, his hit was $18.6 million. Lost in the divisional again. As of right now, his next, if they don't do any restructuring, his next year cap hit skyrockets from 18.6 up to 47.1. That is unbelievable. And the guy's had 5-6 postseason losses. That's an astronomical cap hit for a guy that continues to keep losing in the postseason. Now, yes, it's not all on him, but it's kind of hard when you're trying to negotiate a contract and be like, hey, I think I'm worth all this money. I'm worth every penny. Like, are you? Are you? Like, I could even justify it if he even got to the Super Bowl, like even made it to the dance. But you haven't made it past the championship round.
I feel bad. I don't know, man. He's so good, but then he does some stupid
he almost seems
part
like
of the game was
still
so close too because of his legs. Like that's what else sucks.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not as bad as Lamar as far as a weapon, but he's still one of those where he's not afraid to take it and run, and that he's made it more so than anybody else. He's made a living off of the whole 4th and inches tush push thing, or he'll snap it and he'll just run around the edge. Everyone thinks he's going up the middle. He'll just take it, run around the edge, and he'll end up picking up like 10 yards because he's so freaking big. But it's like he's phenomenal for like 58 minutes. And then he'll make one stupid move or one stupid decision that just blows the whole game for him. Like, you just can't close them out. And I'll give them props. They look like, let's be honest, all of these teams except for Baltimore, and even Baltimore to an extent, that are in the Final Four, Baltimore, San Fran, Kansas City, Detroit, all of them, they've all looked like pure shit at times in the season, and they've all way underperformed. I mean, San Francisco had like a 3-game losing streak where they lost to the Browns and 2 other teams, I forget who, and we were like, are we serious? This is the 49ers? Like, what's going on? Detroit Lions, they almost lost to the Bears, who have the first pick of the season next year, and they got blown out on Thanksgiving by Green Bay. Not San Francisco, Buffalo. I think they were on like a 4-game losing streak or something, and they had to win the last 6 just to even get the playoffs.
Yeah, they didn't look good.
No, you had Kansas City, who they got beat by Detroit at the beginning of the season, and they got beat by Green Bay.
Yeah, they went on a skid there where Kelsey was like a ghost.
Yeah. There were games he wasn't even getting hardly targeted. And it's just like, what is going on? And people were like, oh, the dynasty's over already. And then you had Baltimore. I think they got swept, didn't they, by Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Cleveland beat them 1 out of 2. Pittsburgh actually probably did.
I think Pittsburgh swept them, which is mind-boggling considering how that offense has played all season. Like, it's just crazy. And these are the final teams.
Baltimore's got a real damn good shot at it here. I don't know, man. It makes me sick.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine for the same reason that, I'm in the situation with the NFC. We'll take a look real quick at these games. Get your opinions. Chiefs, Ravens, it's at Baltimore. Right now, Ravens are 3.5 favorites. What do you think?
I like them to cover. In fact, I like them so much I got money on it.
So you think they're going to win by more than 3.5?
Yep.
I think they'll win, but man, I don't know. I think it could be a shootout. For some reason, I'm thinking it's going to be a 2 or 3 point win. I don't know if it'll be by 4. I'll put it this way, though. If it is, it's going to be by Lamar on the ground is what's going to help them.
I think I think that Kansas City team that really shouldn't have even been there.
No, they just don't look in sync at all. The only one, in my opinion, that looks consistent on that entire offense for Kansas City,
number 10,
is Pacheco.
Yep.
But even he has like a toe injury or something, doesn't he? From what I thought I read.
I think it's just because it was in the Bills' defenders' asses for most of the game. I think fair. Now he's had time to clean it, ice it, sterilize it, rest it. That little motherfucker runs hard. God, I love him.
Honestly, if he ran on half of a leg, he'd still probably be better than most of the running backs on the other 31 teams.
Yeah. Dude, I dig him.
It blows me away where he doesn't look like he's going to blow through a hole. You're like, oh, there's no hole there. And all of a sudden he blows through it like a freaking freight train, and he's off down the sideline for 30 yards. Like, holy crap, dude. I've never seen anybody run so hard. And he runs with the power of like a Jerome Bettis or a Zeke Elliott in his prime, early days, but he's half their size. Like, the dude he looks so small, but he hits so hard. He
reminds me of like a running back version, same number. It's a running back version of Tyreek Hill. Like, he's just, holy shit, man. He's explosive.
The thing too is he's not one of those running backs not necessarily a Tyreek Hill comp in this perspective. Tariq's got the speed where he's just like, hey, I'll race you down the sideline. Pacheco's like, hey, I'll race you down the sideline. I'm going to beat you, but before I beat you, I'm running your ass over.
Yeah, I'm going to hit you a couple times.
He's not afraid of contact. He puts his shoulder down and he'll run right over people twice his size. Like, it's just crazy watching him run over a 300-pound defensive lineman. Like, it's crazy.
I think got some pep in that step this week, but man, I don't know.
I think that's the biggest asset they have, and they don't use them. They don't use them nearly enough. They rely so much on their passing game, which, I mean, everyone knows it's going to Kelsey. Like, what other weapon do they have?
MVS, baby. Don't try to block it out, Jared.
Yeah, two
MVS,
catches, maybe.
Baby.
Honestly, that Rasheed
he has
Rice.
2 catches for 4 touchdowns. I don't know how he does it, MVS. I don't know how he does it. He's a fucking madman.
I don't think the maths on that one, but that's okay because on this podcast, math's not a staple. But that Rasheed Rice he's turning out to be one hell of a receiver for them.
He's everything that we thought Sky Moore would be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or, yeah.
He's no MVS.
Well, I'll put it this way. I think MVS might have a bigger role than Mecole Hardman. That's for sure this coming game. Did you see his stat line?
I'm so glad that was... I'm glad they called that a fumble.
I saw a picture of his stat line, and it was like 2 carries for like -1 yard and 2 fumbles.
Yeah.
He may not be even allowed to suit up on the plane. You just stay home.
Not great.
He might not make the flight. But yeah, man, I don't know. But I think it'll be a close one. I think the Ravens are going to win, but I think Chiefs cover. I think it'll be 3-point win. I hope it's a blowout.
Put it on the
to be honest.
board.
Moving to the NFC, Lions, 49ers, 7-point favorite. That's a hell of a lot of points for a championship game.
Yeah, it's a full touchdown. Yeah, If Debo's not playing, I'll take the Lions and the points. The only problem is it'll probably...
I think 49ers win, or at least I hope they win.
No.
I think the Lions, though, cover. I think it'll be like a 4-point, 5-point win. I don't think it's going to be a 7-point game.
Have you put any money on any of these yet?
Not yet.
You should.
I'm going to.
That's what you should do. You should just at the very least. Actually, maybe I'll wait till Debo's not playing officially, and then I'll grab the Niners money line and parlay it with the Ravens.
That's what I was kind of wondering. I was waiting until the final injury reports came out, because if Debo's playing, that line could get vastly different. If we find out for whatever reason Pacheco is hindered at all, that line could be vastly different. So
maybe you should grab the Lions right now at +7.
Wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
That way, when they do rule out Debo, you're sitting pretty.
Yeah, it works out in your favor to begin with.
And then you get more points.
Lions don't have any injuries, do they? That I know of, aside from Laporta.
Who? I mean, he's playing.
Yeah, and I don't remember any. I did see that Andrews wasn't cleared last week. Is he cleared for this week?
He's supposed to be playing.
I thought I saw that he was suited up and he was practicing. So that'll be interesting to see, because that'll be yet another weapon. I mean, likely has been a hell of a weapon for him in Andrews' absence. So that'll be interesting how they work both of them in.
That Ragnar. I forgot about him for the Lions, who got hurt and just kept playing. God damn. Oof.
Yeah.
Grit, Jared.
Yeah.
They got grit. True grit, even. They might even make a movie about it.
I hear there's it's in the works. It's in production.
There's like 3 or 4 different fucking True Grits. I think it's like that one with that Lady Gaga. That what was that stupid fucking movie that A Star Is Born?
What was that again?
Chris Christopherson
and. Yeah, that sounds right. Looking at some of the breaking news and some of the highlights here from the week. Zach Ertz, he did sign with the Lions, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out with Laporta being kind of banged up. If they try to put I don't want to say a timeshare on him, but kind of limit him and get Ertz some work. We'll see. Interesting signing, though. They're definitely not going to hurt him, that's for sure, especially at this time of the season. I think that's all the player acquisitions that I had seen. I did see that this is not new news. This was a week or two ago. Dalvin Cook signed with the Ravens. So
yeah, he actually got the ball.
It'll be interesting to see what role he plays moving forward here. But like I said, it's been a week of coaching carousel. Now that a lot of the 28 teams are out of the mix, they're looking to get rid of deadweight staff and replace it with other promising staff and make changes and interviews and everything. Antonio Pierce became the Raiders head coach, which, that just seemed like a no-brainer, which everything that tends to be a no-brainer, it seems like with the Raiders doesn't happen, but that seems like one that they got right. Like, the team loved him. He proved that he could, rally around, the team and the situation, and they played pretty good down the stretch for him. So that'll be, I think that's a good sign for them. The interesting one is Tom Telesco got hired by the Raiders to be the GM, which is interesting because he was the GM at the Chargers last season for the last couple seasons. So an interdivision GM. So I don't know if that's an intel move or if that's a, right fit for the job. I don't know, but it's interesting to have somebody from the same division just across the border there.
It's like lesbian relationships in college. Like, you get all these dykes in sports, right? You get a couple of them.
You just experiment and try in college.
This is exactly what it is. Trust me. I'm speaking from experience in this one.
I figured that's where this was going, but I can't wait to see how we tie it all together.
So, first of all, I'm going to start by saying this. It's hard enough having, as a heterosexual male, it's hard enough having one woman involved in a relationship with like rationale and fucking level-headed decision making and even keeled temperament. You put 2 in the equation and you got yourself a goddamn nuclear bomb. It's terrible. So in college athletes, right? There's quite the preponderance of lesbians, and what they basically do is all the different sports teams, all these chicks pass each other around like a pack of like jailhouse smokes. And one, it's like a spider web of relation. Basically, that's all this shit is in coaching in the NFL. Your offense was 31st last year in the league, and we'll take you over here.
It's all about recycling.
It's everybody dishes everybody else back and forth and back. And
what they call that in that old show that we used to watch? We loved the League. Is it Eskimo Brothers?
That's what they are. Everybody's an Eskimo. Every NFL fucking front office is an Eskimo brother with every other fucking team because they all just rinse and repeat, reuse, reduce, and recycle.
32 Eskimo franchises.
That's what it is. They're fucking all inbred. That gene pool is mighty shallow.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, though, to see how the Raiders pan out now, because they looked pretty good down the stretch. Whether they can continue on and how the offseason looks for them, we'll see.
You see your old boy there, number 17 in your program, but number 1 in your heart. He was over there trying to recruit him some Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I did see that. There was somebody else I had seen, too, lobbying for Cousins. I forget who it was I saw. I can't remember. But I know we talked about this a couple episodes ago. He got hurt, week 2, week 3, 4, somewhere in there? 5?
Yeah, it was
towards the first fourth of the season. So he's going to have majority of the season next year to play, hypothetically, depending on when he comes back. But I don't see Minnesota keeping him, and I don't see him staying in Minnesota. But hats off to him because he took every dollar he could get from them.
He did a good job, man. He's a hell of a quarterback. I don't think he gets enough credit.
He kind of reminds me of, now I'm just going to use this comp loosely, and then I'll explain. He kind of reminds me of a better version of Jay Cutler. And the reason I say it is he plays a phenomenal game, but he somehow makes a boneheaded move at or some stupid decision. He's like a Josh Allen or a Tony Romo as well. Plays great the whole entire game, and then one stupid bonehead decision cost him the game. Like, that's how I feel about him. He puts up 400 yards, like 4 touchdowns, but he'll throw the game-losing pick. For whatever reason, I feel like that's always been in his DNA, even back in college. But hey, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You know what you're getting.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was in there. I'm pretty sure all I heard was, and I'm paraphrasing here, blah, 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 Jay Cutler is phenomenal. I'm pretty sure that's what I just heard. If I did the Cliff's Notes version, I heard you say Jay Cutler is phenomenal.
No, I said
No, that's what you said. Roll it back.
I said he's a better version of Jay Cutler because Jay Cutler's tendency was to turn the ball over notoriously every single game as well.
If we're going in chronological order, the words that came out of your mouth were Jay Cutler, phenomenal.
I think we must have had some tech issues where your feet cut out.
End tape.
There's no way I would say that because let's be honest, everyone knows better.
Man, good on you. Good on you, Jared. You finally came around. Took you a few years.
I'm glad that's what you got out of that.
Man, good.
You know
for
what?
you.
Hey, let's put it this way: Jay could use some bright spots in his life right now.
God, I feel like singing "Old Lang Syne." Look at you guys mending your bridges, and look at you.
God knows the Kristen Cavallari isn't. She's doing a lot of mending, but it ain't any bridges.
Man.
But moving on, Cincinnati. Previously, Cincinnati's offensive coordinator, Brian Callahan, was hired for the Tennessee head coach. But from what I read, he didn't call any plays as the coordinator.
Correct.
It was all what the heck's his name now? I can't even think of the Cincinnati head coach's name.
Zach Taylor?
Yeah, Taylor.
Zach Taylor, right?
It was Taylor calling the plays. So I guess I'm interested as to what they saw on him as an offensive coordinator who didn't call plays to be the head coach. But I don't know. That one kind of confused me a little bit.
It's nepotism.
I don't really know what you're coordinating if you're not calling the plays. But hey, whatever.
I like his dad.
I feel like I feel like that was just a desperate move. Like, hey, we want to grab somebody. Just grab somebody quick. That's not variable. Because, I mean, there's still plenty of people out there that haven't gotten jobs that seem like a better resume. But, hey, whatever. It is what it is. But moving down the list here, finally, and we're not going to beat a dead horse because we've discussed this more times than I can count all season for the past 3 seasons. Green Bay did decide to finally move on from Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator. So they're in the market now to look for yet another defensive coordinator. But this is what blows me away. And
it'll be variable.
No, I don't see it.
It'll happen.
No, not going to happen. What blows me away is Matt LaFleur is a great play caller, but he is too kind to shit can anybody. Mo Drayton was the special teams coordinator a couple years ago. And when the media asked him, do you need to make a change? And he said, yes, I need to make a change. I'm just in the process of finding some place that I can put Mo Drayton in that will help him excel. So he wanted to take him out of the special teams coordinator position, but find him another job in the building. Like what, janitor? Like as that guy that got shit canned from a special teams coordinator, how would you still be wanting to stay on that staff? Like, oh yeah, I'll take a step down. Yeah, that's cool. Like, no. If I'm fired, I'm fired. I'm done. I'm out. Well, supposedly that was rumors that came out when they made the decision with Joe Barry. We're stepping down. We're moving on. Thank you for your service. He's no longer the DC. But it's not out of the picture that he still won't be somehow on staff. What? Well, is he going to be a parking attendant? Like, I don't get it. It's just impossible for him to just cut ties. It's impossible. Supposedly, there were rumors about him potentially being a linebacker coach, whatever. But the problem is, Jair didn't like him. Keyshawn Nixon didn't like him. They didn't like the scheme. Darnell Savage didn't like. There's a bunch of guys on the defense that did not like his philosophy. So how can you take him out of the coordinator and then move him to a position coach where they already still don't like him? Like, you can't do that.
Nobody else wants him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Cheap labor.
He's out as of now. Me personally, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I think Rich Bisaccia needs to be addressed because that special teams has been a disaster for more years than I can count, probably as long as the defense has been an issue. And you brought in the highest paid special teams coordinator, and if anything, they're worse. I don't know what's going on. The guy missed a kick, whether it's a field goal or an extra point, in 10 of the last 12 games. 10 of the last 12. That's ridiculous. I know he's a rookie, but how are you missing extra points? You should not be missing extra points. Those are killers. And there's a reason why LaFleur started going for 2, because you can't trust the kicker. I don't know. And you got guys, punt coverage team and kickoff coverage team. They're getting 30, 40-yard returns. Like, something needs to happen there. So we'll see how that works out. I haven't heard. They were talking about it on ESPN in the morning show, Wisconsin. They were talking about it on Get Up, I believe, as well. I think they were talking about it on McAfee. That I think it was the morning show. Schefter was on ESPN Wisconsin. Have you heard any other teams that Belichick has interviewed with? I've only heard 2 with Atlanta, and that's it. Like, nobody else has had any interest from what I've heard.
Yeah, pretty sure it was just Atlanta that he had a couple interviews with, but that's not the only coach that they've even interviewed, so I don't...
Yeah, well, that's what Schefter had said, that basically, I mean, obviously we'll get to that next year, but it made more sense for Harbaugh to go down to Atlanta than Belichick, because Atlanta needs a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
McCarthy is coming into the draft, and Atlanta has a pretty high pick. So they could draft his quarterback, bring him in, and basically keep the ball rolling with his guy that he's already familiar with. Plus, I think Arthur Blank and the Falcons are more likely to spend money than the Spanos and that disaster of an ownership up in Los Angeles. But I've not heard anybody else even have any interest in Belichick. So I don't know if he doesn't get a job or, where he goes. I don't know, because I've not heard him tied or even interested, But again, with his resume, he can go anywhere he wants. He can be very selective if he wants to go anywhere. But I did find it a little funny. On the McAfee show, they were talking with, I think it was J.J. Watt today, about Belichick going to Atlanta. And they called him for a second interview. And Pat was like, do they really feel like they need a second interview? Like, does he just need to roll up with his 6 rings and be like, so do you just want me to pull the tape up? Because last time I checked, we had 28, you had 3. Or how'd that work out? Like, do you want me to cliff notes or screenshots? Like, who has the answers here? like, what do we need a second interview for? Didn't I already prove myself?
That's I think they all said it. Like, he's interviewing them.
Exactly. That's 100%. 100% is what he's doing. He's making sure he's got his ducks in a row and he knows what he's walking into. But it just blows me away. Of all the teams, that's the team that he's interviewing with, is the team that he just blew out after they had a 25-point lead.
God, tell me it wouldn't be fucking poetic if he ended up going to the Bills.
Yeah.
Turn around and stick it to Kraft. Oh my God.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, if he's going to go anywhere, it's going to be the Bills, because it's not like Saleh or McDaniel's going to go anywhere.
No. God, wouldn't that be great? God, I'd be
it's not going to happen, but how funny would it be if, for whatever reason, Saleh moved on and Belichick went to the Jets and Rodgers came back, and with Rodgers he beat the shit out of the Patriots. He took one Hall of Famer to another.
Either of those teams.
It would be weird though to see him in Atlanta, because has he ever coached outside the AFC? He was with the Giants for a little bit, wasn't he, with Parcells?
He was on there, yeah.
That was a long time ago, though.
Way back.
It's just weird to see him and somebody other than the AFC. It'd be weird. But that's still...
That's Atlanta. That just...
It doesn't seem like a fit to me.
I don't know. Although that division is softer than baby shit, so...
Yeah. I mean, the only one you arguably have to really worry about is potentially Baker. That's it. I mean, Bryce Young? No. Derek Carr? No.
I mean, I'd be all about him ending Baker's career in Tampa.
It's not like it would take much.
Yeah, if he went to Atlanta, I mean, that'd be the only reason I'd want to see him go down there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. He'll go somewhere.
I don't see him taking a year off, and I think if he takes a year off, he's done. I don't think he's going to come back after a year at his age. But never say never. Who knows?
I'd like to see him and Brady in the booth together.
Ugh.
Bill on the color commentary. Come on.
And then Gronk as the sideline reporter.
Jesus Christ.
Man, just rekindle old flames. Good Lord.
So good. I want Bill to ask the question. You know, like how they got those fucking token chicks to ask stupid fucking questions to the coaches going in and out of the fucking locker room at the half and at the end of the game?
How ironic
what do you think you could have done back there, coach? Do you think you could have scored 2 more points and actually won the game?
Are you trying to say you want Belichick to chase the coaches down to...
I want Belichick asking the questions. I want the shoe to be on the other foot. I want the table to turn. God
have him on the flip side.
I'd like him to turn this one.
Can you imagine a coach looking at him and being like, yeah, I wouldn't answer that question either.
Yeah, like, here's a real curveball. God damn. It's so good, man.
It would be interesting.
I'd fucking pay for it. They could put that shit on fucking Peacock.
Yeah. But kind of shocking. Moving on here, Vic Fangio and Miami agreed to part ways. That didn't seem like it really worked all too well down the stretch. It looked pretty decent at the beginning of the year, and then it kind of fell apart. Supposedly he had interest in going to Philadelphia. I guess he's from Pennsylvania. He has family there, grandkids and stuff. So he was looking to move closer. But at the time, Philadelphia didn't have a need. Well, now they let go of their DC, so there's a potential that they could be in the market to get Vic Fangio in for an interview up there. So that'll be interesting to see if they're able to bounce back as far as the defensive dominance that they had in the past. But it did just break today, I believe, tonight actually, that the Chargers did finally come to an agreement with Jim Harbaugh, former Michigan coach, going to the Chargers. So that leaves the door open now for Atlanta to go after Belichick if, that seems to be an option. What do you think of him and Herbert? I mean, he's got Herbert, he's got Eckler, he's got Mike Williams, he's got Keenan Allen, if he still plays. I mean, he's getting up there.
To be totally honest, I don't like Justin Herbert. And I hope that they both fail. And once that asshat fails with Herbert, maybe we put to rest that Justin Herbert's actually like a top any blah, blah, blah tier quarterback in the NFL.
It'll be interesting to see Herbert and Peyton go at it. Sean Payton in Denver.
No, yeah.
Now with Harbaugh and Peyton going at it.
I'm hoping Sean Payton wrecks that shit. I can't stand Justin Herbert in Los Angeles itself.
I don't necessarily have an issue with the Chargers or Herbert. I want to like Herbert because I feel like he has potential, but I just feel like he's the Tommy DeVito, the Eli Manning. Like, he's just not likable. I don't know.
Yeah, I cannot stand him.
I mean, I want to like him. I just don't. And I like Austin Eckler, but I feel like he's kind of stuck on the wrong team, in my opinion. I just don't feel like he's used. I don't know.
Herbert's got the most punchable face.
That's why I said he reminds me of like Eli, because Eli always looked like the mouth breather, like miserable guy on the sideline.
Yeah, he definitely got a little Make-A-Wish kid in him, that's for sure. I just, oh man, there's something about her. Herbert's little smug little fucking smirk in that stupid fucking Subway commercial at the beginning of the year when he was supposed to be a fucking star. And he's got that little cocky, I'm something. Something I don't have to deal with because I live on the East Coast, thank Christ.
Yeah.
God, could you imagine living in California and you were stuck to watch that fuckhead?
Well, if you were living in California, you'd either be a Brock Purdy or a Matt Stafford fan, because there's no way anybody would. I don't know. I just don't feel like Charger fans are that dominant there. I feel like it's either Rams or 49ers, or hell, even Vegas at that point. You're close enough.
That's right.
I just don't feel like the Charger fan base is that big. But then again, that's also coming from us on the East Coast, so who knows? But we'll finish it up with this last point. Not really necessarily any specific NFL-related news, but did you happen to...
we got here finally. I was waiting the whole show for you to bring up how the Green Bay Packers completely just treated the cheerleaders like dog shit in that last game. Did you see that?
Well, I did see that. It wasn't on the list. Wasn't on the list, but yeah, I did see that. But
wow,
hey,
scumbags!
I do feel bad for the Dallas cheerleaders because fucking they said that they were saying stuff to them every time they scored. With that being said, man, 48 points. They had to have had a lot of instances to say stuff.
Scumbags! I hope they all get charged with rape. Fuck them all. Fucking pieces of shit. Fucking Packers. Packers all pissed off because they don't have cheerleaders. Fucking scumbags. God. I hope you feel like a big man. Your team's over there fighting with the cheerleaders, talking shit, threatening them.
I mean, we might as well, because God knows the Dallas Cowboys weren't putting up much of a fight.
Throwing up the shocker symbol.
That's probably why the cheerleaders were so sad to begin with, is because their own team was playing like shit.
Two in the pink, one in the...
But anyway, like I said, we'll finish it up here. And nothing necessarily specific sport related, but did you see that Sports Illustrated fired the remaining staff, closed up shop? They are basically done, it seems like.
No, I to be totally honest, the most shocking part of this is that Sports Illustrated was still a thing.
I was just going to say, I didn't realize they were still around. I know they basically really took a back seat and really kind of suffered for a while, because I'd say probably the last, 10 years or so, because everything's electronic now. It used to be back in the day, magazines were the thing, and it was always, you look forward to it, whatever it was, every week or month or whatever the time frame was. I can't remember. Like, that was the thing. Like, oh my gosh, who's on the cover now? Who's on the cover? It was kind of like back in the day with the Wheaties box. Who made the cover? And now it's kind of like nobody reads magazines anymore. It's all online. So I know they went to an porno. Yeah. So I know they went to an online platform, I feel like 5 years ago or something. And I mean, I just don't know of anybody talking about it anymore, but it does kind of suck, because it's kind of like you're looking back and it's like, man, I grew up with that. It's like part of the childhood. It's, I don't know, kind of sucks. But then again, I mean, the market was kind of closing in on them. I feel like they didn't really have much else to go now with being able to get all your sports media from practically anywhere and everywhere. You didn't really need it. But they, I guess they let the rest of the staff go from the article I read, and they're closing up shop. So they are calling it a day.
Got to know when to hold them, Jared. And you got to know when to fold them.
It's true. But
you know that old Kenny Rogers song you used to sing to me when we were necking in the woods behind old man Parker's farm?
If you say so.
That old nursery rhyme from the sea.
If something tells me, I don't think that was me. That must have been another one of your heterosexual.
You gotta know when to walk away, know when to run.
Well, with that being said, that'll wrap up another episode here on the Fifth Quarter Sportscast. Download, rate, subscribe, review, all that good stuff. If you want to interact with us, hit us up on the socials. Fifth Q Sportscast, 5THQ Sportscast. Go catch some of the NFC and AFC championship games Sunday, for us at least on the East Coast, 3 o'clock, 6:30. Got the Chiefs at the Ravens, Lions at the 49ers. Should be a pretty good weekend of games. And man, it's coming up close. The season's almost over. It's hard to believe. It seems like it went real fast, but we're not even on the back nine at this point. We're like hole 16. I feel like we're coming to a close. So it'll be interesting to see which of these two teams move on to the Super Bowl, and we'll be able to take a look at some of the bets here and see some of the wagers that'll be interesting for the Super Bowl, whoever makes it. But yeah, go catch some of the championship games, and we'll catch you next week. Break down some of the championship
Check out my OnlyFans. You get the first 3 months free. Every month thereafter is $9.99.